Hello and welcome to Galactic Goddess Podcast. I'm your host, Radhaa Nilia, and today we have a very special guest, Karen Lusick McDonald. She
Me.
is a genius herself, and she actually is going to share with us all about the Genius Insight app because it is helping so many people right now. And as I'm diving into health hacks, this is certainly something that I think is going to be changing the game. Welcome, Karen.
Well, thank you very much. It's great to be here again. I loved it. I've been putting out whatever controversial talks with Karen, but we did a half an hour and an hour one, and I've been sending that out because that was the most concise I've ever sat down with anyone and explained natural health, but showed people how to do it. So thank you. I know it's about probably 2-3 years old, but it's as current then as it is now. So thank you for that.
I love it. I love that this is how relevant this technology is. It keeps its value and it only gets better and better because from what I understand, people are adding more and more. But could you, like, for someone that has no idea what this is, could you give us an explanation of this app?
Yeah, absolutely. It was developed by a friend of mine, Ryan Williams, and the site is actually Insight Health Apps. So if you go there, that's where you're going to see the actual website. And basically what it is many years ago when I was dropped off on the planet, I was sick of nursing because I saw people like dropping dead. There was no answers. And I was at a health show one day and I saw one of the biofeedback equipments, the radionics, the old Rife, the scaler, whatever back then. It was called a Skio. And it was like basically a $50,000 life investment for me. So I had that in the clinic, all my therapist did. And then Ryan set up the Canadian Alliance of Quantum Therapists, which then turned into eventually the IQUIM, which Dr. Paul Duran took over, a medical doctor, and it's one of the few virtual quantum doctor schools of medicine, energetic medicine.
Wow.
And so that's amazing. But again, it's like going to medical school. So if you want to get your PhD or master's, or you want to become a full-fledged PhD, you can get that there in quantum medicine. So that's where I'm at. Now, what happened is that Ryan then got an aha moment. And so his aha moment, he has developed over 30, not just the Genius, but over 30 technologies in the last probably 20 years that I've known him. And they are amazing. So we call the Genius actually kind of the flagship of it, but there are many different ones that we have. What he did is he took that clunky, heavy duty metals and stuff like this, and we used basically like generators, almost like a little Tesla generator. We used like a MiFi or a Wi-Fi type of generator back then, and they were all like 10-20 grand just to have that. So wow. With the advancement of obviously cell phones, and then came iPads, and then came tablets and blah, blah, blah. Well, we didn't need that extra $10,000-$20,000 to have generators because now the phones could interface with it. So then he went, aha, we can voice activate this, we can picture activate this. So it's not nefarious, let's say, like, virtual ID. But what it does is it allows us through your voice, which is the most profound way of measuring energetics. And if you look at the history of radiology, it would have been probably another department in the hospitals, but they chose not to have it here in North America, except in private clinics. But what I'm doing is done in like 100 hospitals in Europe. So this is not new. Russian technology has been using radionics and Royal Life and Germany and all through Europe forever. Hulda Clark was making little battery zappers that David Wolf now sells out here, and then they came into cubes and they came into other things. But again, then they start talking about the regen beds. But what is different from this is that basically almost most of them are knockoffs. So this is what they've been developing, like at MIT. So you see people like Dr. Shari Edwards. You see people like Kalina Riley. A lot of people have got excellent sound therapy and technologies out there. Love it. But what's different is that this can be interfaced to your own phone. I don't have to call up a therapist. And most of the therapists, when you learn about scalar, everything, there's when you've seen the movie The Rabbit Hole, Down the Rabbit Hole, or What the Bleep Do We Know, the observer effect is a large part of it. By observing, once you put my little monkey mind or my egotistical thing out, the client heals themselves. And that's what biofeedback is. So I'm not using a pendulum and making still subjective guesses, or some people throw cards and stuff, whatever you want to use. Again, it's subjective. It will never be objective. Never. And so biofeedback is very much like this. And this is my little Care Bear. I love my Care Bear. So this is an example of what we do, the Bio Bear. And I've had the Bio Bear around since I used to be with the health shows all in Western Canada for years. So we would show this to show that it is child friendly. Okay, and that you can actually play with it. You can actually do it remotely. So I can do what's called distance healing. You could do proxy healing. So I could pretend this was my child that's not listening to me and say, you love your mother, whatever. That's just the fun applications. But also, what could we do? We can imprint crystals. You can imprint water. You can put someone's glasses on. A lot of little children will do their ponytail. There's scrunchies for them. So basically, if someone was here and they're not, I'll just say injected with very weird ingredients these days, I will take them on. Okay, so as long as they don't have something that's been dumped up their mouth or their nose or into their systems, and I think it's great. But a lot of people are using it. But there are chances that when you start working with electrical magnetism and you've got certain substances like graphene in your system, you don't want to be the spoon in the microwave these days with 5 and 6G. But this is my little demo bear. So these are basically what's going on here. And so Ryan invented some even newer technology. And some of the things that we use with the Bio Bear is actually something that we call basically bone conduction. So you can get not just earphones, or earbuds, but what you can do is get bone conduction type of thing. So they actually oscillate or cause what's called, with this kind of technology, pulsed energetic frequency medicine, otherwise known as PEMF. Okay, so this is not just about listening to some solfeggio tone or 432 or whatever. So I'll give you a quick demo if I may, and just show you how we would do it. In conjunction, I will use a lot of it with this light technology. So that's what you're seeing here. This is an electrolyte minerals shield, just before I go on to it. This is basically got titanium in it and minerals and everything else. I've got my essential oils in the sponges back here, and it's blowing, but it runs terahertz. It also runs the blue and red light therapies.
Wow.
So these are things too that you can put, like I said, the Genius on, or you can do it in conjunction with these therapies. So these are really nice now to use. So I'm going to put the bear over here. We're going to bring some of these on here. Now I have several. I've got 2 iPad Airs, and I have also on the other ones I've got on my phone, because a lot of times I've been in the phone and just talked to someone in the store and I've just done them right there in like less than 5 minutes, and you're off and running, and they love it. So you don't have to do therapy. Some people might just want to do actually and take a look at their aura here, like I was looking at someone. So you see the changes before and after. So I'm going to show you one of the 2 different ones here. One is the Genius on one side, and then on this side, it will be something called the Odyssey. So as I said, there are a lot of different apps here and multiple apps. So like I said, Ryan developed 30 of them. I have a water harmonizer. I have one that does for relationships. I have another one in here that just does Rife and radionics.
Wow. Are these all from Ryan?
Correct. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The guy's a genius. Seriously. So again, the Odyssey is up here. And that's the Odyssey. And then this would be the Genius in here. So we're going to put the Genius on one side. So you just, again, touch these. They're really great to use. And I'll just clear my client out here. So we're going to do them actually both at the same time, which is kind of fun. So I think that's kind of cool, because I do a lot of these actually with both on them. So let's say I want to do, should we do me, or do you want to get you done?
You have my information in there, right?
I think I do. I've got an old one. You can erase it, so you never have to have it. But what I might do is I might keep even someone's, just their name and their birth date and that kind of thing. So anyway, on something like that. But yeah, no, it's pretty fun. So you can totally get rid of someone, never have to do it. You can run it off grid. So you never have to use this with Wi-Fi. Once you've downloaded the actual app, you don't have to have any Wi-Fi. And that's what most people don't know. And again, you're running your own therapy. So this is the whole difference in here. So we're going to just have you, for fun, we're going to have you say your name and the vowels, A-E-I-O-U, A-E-I-O-U, and then, or sometimes Y. And then you can just start with the alphabet, A, B, C, D. So name, vowels a couple times, and then alphabet. So 3, 2, 1, there's a microphone.
Okay.
Here. Go.
Radhaa Nilia, A-E-I-O-U, 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 A-E-I-O-U.
Perfect. Okay, so you see this is in here. So everyone's got their own voice imprint. Now, in here, we take the voice in, we put the harmonies back into it. So wherever you're spiking, wherever you're too high or too low, then what you do is we're going to send, one therapist might send 30,000. I might have 100,000 items, whatever's in my library or data bank. So if it's got frequency, I might have, let's say, vitamin D. Okay. I might have information. I might have things for, we'll just call spike project. Whatever that substance is, I can plate it here and then send it to you like muscle testing.
Whoa. Okay, this is new. So, oh my gosh. Okay, I'm super excited. Now, is this hooked up to the Genius or the Odyssey, this plate?
This one is on to the Genius right now, but what I'm going to show you is just how simple that is. So right now we have two different kinds of technologies, and that's what we're doing. And
like how you work.
So what you're doing is we've taken the voice. Now here is simple enough. You just hit scan down here. So we did the voice. It's scanning the voice right now. And then what we're going to do is it's going to take us to each one. Like I said, there's a few more channels. So I have your picture here from before. Very lovely, isn't she? Okay, so I'm going to begin there. And this one, I've only done 3 things. I've done my voice, I said next, and scan. And in this one, you can pick whatever you want. It might say sleeping, hormones, respiratory. So you pick the category here. I'll just put it up here so you can see.
Hormone.
Okay, so there you go. Okay, so you might have music. You might have for detox, hormones, sleeping, whatever the category is.
Music for fungi and mold. Well, I had black mold in my body when I used to from the implants, and I'm
there
still
you go. So
out.
what you do is you just go and hit start, and that's it. It goes off and it plays. So, you know, we did that, and maybe there was that black mold. So we can go into black mold here. And this one's about a 10-minute program. So it runs through that. So you just choose the dot that you want and hit start.
Wow. Now that's the Odyssey. I just want everyone to be
the Odyssey.
Clear. So
Odyssey run about 400 or so US, but these ones started about 1,000 to 2,000-3,000. So it depends on what bells and whistles. As you can say, like there are different plates. So you can plate your herbs, or you can plate your essential oils, or you can plate your tinctures. So that's the advantage to doing that.
Fun part with the Genius app is that, I mean, I like interactive stuff, like, you might want to get the wristband so that it pulses into your body, the PMS.
Now, this is what's happening here is that this does interface with both the Genius and the Odyssey. So all you do is you put it here, you blue sync it in, watch till the light starts going. And then what you're going to start seeing is it will start actually, see how it's starting to flash here?
So say because this is distance and I'm over here and you're there, you're in Canada and I'm in California. Yep. How could you explain how that might pulse in for somebody? Would they use like the bear?
Okay, on this, I mean, if you wanted to, usually what we do from a distance is just go in and you can actually play what's called a quanta cap. So I could actually record all the sounds that we are generating for you. So that's called a quantum cap. So that's what we do distance wise. In here, you can listen to it. I do Skype and Zoom, or sometimes Facebook or FaceTime or Telegram, and that way I can record it. Or I've had a client with their recorders on their phone record it. So you can do that from a distance. That allows you to do it, but it's really designed to be pulsed. And this is why Ryan came up with this type of thing. You're hearing about all this, red light therapy and blue light therapy. Well, this is oscillating. And right now, Dr. Debbie Drake, who is on the Insight Health apps, YouTube, you'll see a lot of her, Denise, me, is that what happened is that all of a sudden what we're finding is it's increasing the nitric oxide.
Yeah.
Oxide is a whole different thing. Okay. So it's increasing that by 700%. So you're increasing oxygen. Okay. And so that's what we're going to do. Oh dear, the bear, the bear is going to come back. Don't lose the bear. Anyway, so again, you can open this up and put it around the neck. You could put it, if you got a sore mouth, sleep with it, put it on your wrist, put it on wherever you like. So these are very, very portable. They can go anywhere you want. And so right now it's interfacing in with that music. Okay, so there's this one, playing. Now here, What we're going to do is that the genius, on the other hand, is much more involved. You know, it will tell us things. We could start going for herbs, oils, let's say traditional Chinese medicine. So in here, I could do a traditional Chinese medical assessment on someone.
No way. That's just
So this is the total difference in doing someone here. Okay. So again, you're getting in here and it might be the larger, you know, someone here that says your lung meridian or something. So maybe there's something wrong with your arm. So a lot of times we have frozen shoulders, a carpal tunnel, when actually it's the organ, the acupuncture meridian. So that's why after years and years of studying medicine and allopathic, I went to naturopathic because there were no answers for me in the hospital. And there you can see it's pulsing in here. So right now it's sinking in on this particular device. It's sinking in to the actual Odyssey.
wow.
So it's now pulsing in on here. If I was to take it off and shut it off, right, it will come back into here, and then you would actually hear the tones there. And start hearing some of the tones coming in. There. So now it's gone back into another auditory form rather than into here. So that's the advantage of doing this kind of technology. So here I would just actually listen to it with headphones or earbuds. So having said that, we're going to go to the genius. And right now we took a picture of you. So we're going to come in here and take a look and run that genius and see what we come up with here. So like I said, there's a lot of advantages to doing this type of thing. And this is where energetic frequency medicine is. I've been doing it for 20 years. So that's why I encourage people to go to Insight Health Apps. I could, like I said, imprint the water end here and start making something. So let's say looking at this aura right now that you have, you know, it's a little washed out. There's a bit of a brown ring here. So if I bring it up closer here, it's got an orange brown ring. That's not something I want to see that's necessarily that healthy. So something, as you're walking around, that's your bubble.
Okay.
That is something that's draining the energy right into the reproductive area. And there's a brown ring there. So I start seeing a lot of this brown and blacks showing up, auras, because we're seeing a lot of the contamination, the aerosol spills coming in. We're seeing chemicals that are from fires, whichever way they're going. Right now, I've got all of, as you know, Alberta, Saskatchewan, and BC. You know, so a lot of people, this is why you asked me, what are you wearing? This is a wearable air purifier. So again, the other thing I can imprint on here could be jewelry. So I might want to imprint something like this or my Q-link or something like this. So that's something that I wear all the time now because this keeps a 3-foot bubble around me. So when I actually do my energy and aura, it's actually blowing clean air through the whole energetic field. And it's ozonated. So anyway, and it's like a little taser here. So if you actually put it up to your chin, it will give you a miniature shock. So having said that, so I have another way of looking at you. So again, there's that nice violet purple, which is great. So I have 2 different cameras to look at you. It's like doing 2 different radiology or x-rays.
Oh my gosh.
Sounds. So really, the genius is a form of ultrasonic medicine, really. And that's all that this is. So I could actually imprint here and then start hooking these things up to you and making with my little splitter here. It's like a woman. We multitask with all these ports. It's like having 6 females working on you. You notice this is the receptacle. That looks like the penis. But anyway, what it is it allows me to put headphones on. It allows me to put the remedy on. It allows me to put it on to the client. And from here, we just keep going. So having said that, what are we going to do? We've got all these beautiful categories to look at. Okay, so maybe we might want to look at the herbs that you need. So we might say, well, they're the herbs that, you know, you need right now. And then what it can do is I have like this wonderful, it's like a miracle hope chest. This hope chest is what's giving us hope. So we actually take that substance, the mineral, the vitamin, and you put your finger on it. It's called virtual medicine. It highlights. You see it highlights, and I drop it into your medicine chest, the hope chest.
Wow. So it's like,
and what you're going to do is you're going to then play it. And that is what energetic frequency medicine is. So do I pump it into you across the world? I can. You can hear it or not hear it, but it's going through the radio waves or scalar waves anyway. And this is why it's really, really important. So there are different sounds we can make to it. So right now it is now pulsing to you. And let's say if you got candida, you have yeast. And if people need to say, how does this do this? I just want you to go to TED Talks, look up Dr. Anthony Holland, and go shattering cancer with frequencies, shattering cancer with sound waves, biosound, biophotonics. This is what it is. So you can actually hook up to this. And like I said, I could put my little wristbands on here on me. Okay. And in the old days, they would use silver and gold rods and hook you up to like little batteries. This is just more high tech than hooking yourself up to a battery booster, right? So I put these on, I interface to here, and you're actually creating a wave in and out for you. Okay, that's what's actually happening. So you're actually creating pulse waves. And so whether I send them to you or I hook up directly, mainline, it's the same thing as a cell phone. How do you talk to someone if I wanted to talk to you in California? I could go on the landline, hardwired, or I could speak on the phone through Wi-Fi, right?
Mm-hmm.
So those are basically, it's the same idea. And that's how we're doing that. So this is now going to you and to any client. So if you've got fungus, candida, yeast, I'll just say the C, whatever you want. There's a lot of C words in there. You know, candida, cancer, whatever you want, other vids. So anyway, you can go in there, gallstones, high blood pressure. So what you're doing is you're actually stimulating a sound. And what's it? We call it your day of atonement or tuning it in. So every organ has a sound wave. So as a nurse, we used to have like EEG, EKG, EEGs, right? So all those different things were giving us sound waves and telling us how functional it is. What they didn't tell you is that the whole entire body from head to toe is a sound wave. And so we're actually listening to you. So this is the coolest form of medicine, because you can go right now and you can take, I think, close to 5 days for free on here and close to 2 weeks for free on the Genius. So why would one not want to do that? So those are some of the things in here. So what happens is that when we look at this, it might say, hey, out of all those things I put in there, there is a lack of oxygen to you, what we call hypoxia. So I might go, well, why is that? Is it breathing? Is it 5G? A lot of people are having trouble. Remember, all this stuff about breathing and respiratory is connected to 5 and 6G. So these are some of the things in here. And I usually recommend now people get, they're small like a Q-link, but you're seeing EMF or 5G, 6G, basically pendants. So I would really recommend getting one of those. They're like copper windings about 80 times. And what happens is that 5 and 6G, at least it's protecting your heart, which is the center of everything, especially over your breathing. So those things might help. And the other thing I do with my little bio bear, and this is really cute. Friends of mine, we went and got the EMF fabric that you can use for drapery or around your bed or something. So this is instead of a tinfoil hat. And if you know that's not cool enough, then what I have is actually, this is a silver. So you can get silver and copper lined clothing now. And that way it protects our heads, or you can put it around. But you're seeing a lot of stuff. A lot of the women now are getting done. So there's my little, really, my bug in and bug out there. So that's really cute. So there's just some of the things there. And like I said, all these substances, I've plated everything. If you like Young Living, it's in here. If you like doTERRA, it's in here. If you like Nevessence up here, I have a lot of Tony Nevis, Nevis's oils up in here. So again, this is what it's showing us. And it might give you like muscle testing. So you can plate things directly, as I showed you. I could, put on that potassium iodide or whatever you want, or whatever it might be in here, So these things can always be plated. And then it's like sending it to you energetically. So it's kind of like an energetic neutral, or we call it electroceuticals these days, electrocubrology. And it's similar, it's even finer than, let's say, if I pushed it into the water, because that's the thing, is it's transferring this into here. It can transfer it into me, but it could also transfer it into the water. So the water totally changes, like Dr. Emoto. So it's like blessing your water, but with a quantum cosmic, generator behind you. And that's the other thing, is you're using, these things, sound or water. Like I said, you can terahertz the water this way, or, these are actually, I've got wands here too that you can do. And some people will look at, they're wanding their water these days. Okay. But I like the core one here much better. This is much better at Insight Health apps that I found, So these are some different options you can do as well. But I think, that kind of covers it. It's like I said, is to take a look at Insight Health apps, take a look at it. We've got different things coming on board. This is now being launched. So we've been beta testing this for years now, and it's really going out to launch now to the public. So right now, this is the best time to get on ground level, and you could get a hold of Radhaa, or you could get a hold of me. I'm at clanmother13 at Gmail, or calm, KALM 13 at Proton Mail. And that's clanmother with a K, by the way. So you could get a hold of her. And then if you're interested in getting, the downloads or something like that, you can go to Insight Health Apps or get a hold of us directly. There's some really nice things there that, people, they've got we just started up. It's beautiful. It's called a referral program. So if people are interested in a referral program, they have that available. And then the other thing that they've come out with is a affiliate ambassador program too. So if people want to have their own website attached to Ryan's now at Insight Health Apps, you're more than welcome to do that or get a hold of us. So yeah, I think it's really cool. So the other applications I use the Genius for is, besides distance healing, because I probably do a client every day, and you could do them every hour if you want around the world. So I could be in every different nation around the world all day. One of the other things too, I'll just show you here, is actually using water. So water is the universal solvent. So what you're seeing here is different things like my yoni steam chair. So you can put your yoni pearls on, all sorts of things. So the clients I can actually imprint the water or the tea that you're drinking. Or like I said, sometimes they will do the clients, if they've got, let's say like glasses or something. I did a client yesterday and we imprinted his glasses on here because he's wearing it all the time. So it's holding that energetic frequency, and they can hold it for several months. So this is a great way to go do this, and it's inexpensive. And like I said, they have programs now here as low as $99 a month US that you can get involved. And do remember what I said when I started, it was a $50,000 investment plus the IQ UAM. So for me, it's something at $99 a month that is not a therapist, that doesn't really maybe necessarily know you, or they send these programs all the time. People are signing up for these things. They're calling them Regen Bed 9, right? And what is it they're doing? They take a picture of you, or they take a picture of your bed, and then they send these frequencies to you for 8 hours.
Regen Bed, is that part of the Genius?
Well, no, that's another company that's doing it. But what I'm telling you is people are using this as a knockoff thing and facilitating this, saying this is like a Regen Bed, but these aren't. But this is the similar technology that they're using, biophotonics and stuff like that.
The future.
So the future is now, and I've been doing it for 20 years, so it's not new to me. So there's a lot of things too, like some of these things, and this is where people have to be very careful. Talk to the therapist, investigate. I managed to get kicked out of the ES system, right? I didn't even make it through the door because I challenged what their intake was, that they would accept no responsibility if you were injured. Now, those are different kind of things where you go into rooms and they're blaring these kind of things. So let's say if you had a existing heart condition or myocarditis from, we'll just say things, that have been injected into people, funny little graphene, nanobots and worms running around you because of what you took the injection or you took the PCR thing, right? And so what happens is they're not accepting responsibility. So do remember that this is why I scan my clients very carefully, because again, the analogy of the spoon in the microwave, you put something like this, like a metal of any kind that's metallic, into the water and then start applying external magnetics and electronics, not a wise idea to do. So I have seen stuff in there, with stealth technology and things like that. So I'm very careful about what I go into, and when they won't give you the information or then they want to charge you, that's absolutely insane. So I'm really about, a lot of times is doing this maybe with a client, doing an initial consult. And a lot of us will even do just your aura or something like that. If you're, concerned, what's the aura look like? What do we want to do to improve it? So you run these things here, and it's been playing the whole time, while we were talking. Yeah. And it's got graphics and stuff like that.
It is cool. I've never seen that before. I've never seen that image before.
Well, these are new images too. They're called body viewers, but it's a 3D graphic. I sometimes will put it on because I'm trying to explain to you, how does this work? So through satellite technology, you're actually seeing how the Genius actually works. That's what scalar wave is. There's you in between, there's your energetic field, and we're applying external tri-vectored sound waves. It's no different than a radio station. So anyway, those are the waves that you're seeing. And this way, it's kind of a nice way of teaching you. But everything that I've checked off there is the sound, and everything is a frequency or a sound. So
Okay.
like I said, the sound of lavender, the sound of herbs, the sound of peppermint that you pull from the garden is not going to be the same as peppermint essential oil at 78 hertz. Or you might have a rose outside that's at 25 or 30 hertz, but it converted into an essential oil and it's 320. So these are the kind of things that are really nice to teach, because it's also the affirmation. To me, this is the first step towards breaking things like contracts and soul contracts for people that took, I'll just say injections or whatever. What happens is you got to deal with the spiritual aspect. And this is a nice way because it has affirmations. You have to break soul contracts. We have to admit, you know, people, if they've done something, they've got to admit, like NA, they should have this thing for VA now. But anyway, the stress is in here. We've got traditional Chinese medicine. So there's the chiropractic part, or the spinal or the vertebrae. So you can go up and down and see if you've got a sore back or an inflammation, or what organ is it connected to. And I showed you the traditional Chinese medical part, but there are all sorts of things. Some people like just to do chakra alignments here. I mean, you can just go to chakra, and every page that you see here, I can just do individually. So here, I'm actually just going to do a chakra alignment. So it picks out the chakra that actually.
Before, so this is super exciting for me.
Yeah.
I've seen that. This is like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. So right now it's picking out the chakra, the energy, or whatever you're targeting. It gives you a visual, which is great because we really are visual beings. You know, there's a sound component to it, but this becomes the telepathy. And so as you can see, it was going into that hot pink purple. So it's the crown chakra it was working on, you know, in here. And sometimes we want to see, wow, what does it look like? So you're actually running waves through your biofield, and that's what we're doing. So once you start running that through, whether you hook up directly or do it from a distance, it's nice to do it. Like I said, there are people, and especially if they have been injected or with the swabs, is you got to be very careful with this kind of technology, because you don't want to aggravate things that are dormant, you know, and that's one of the things. So if you need to be alkaline, it will tell you some alkalinity. So the other thing that's really nice, of course, are things like your brain. So, you know, if you've had hereditary brains, high blood pressure, a lot of people have been losing their senses, smell, sleeping, that type of thing. It might give us a clue as to what it is and say, hey, there's some stuff going on here. But yeah, so it's a little more than just saying, hey, I want to play 532 or 528 or 442 or whatever you want to say. It's much more intense than that. And so I think that's probably one of the best things we could, you know, go is it goes into the organ. It can also tell you vitamins, sensitivities. And this is like all those different things in here. Again, this just runs in nutrition, say, hey, just do nutrition or just do heavy metals. And that's the difference from a $400 system compared to a 1,000 to 2,000. So it really depends what you want. And Ryan's got a really incredible like pro package right now, actually, that has the Odyssey, the Genius, the terahertz stuff, all involved in one. So he's got a really cool pro package, and really for $99 down, I think, you know, I wish I would have had stuff like that back then. The other
You're time, but that's what makes you so proficient in being able to share this, because you know people are learning, and every time I hear about it, I'm like, wait, they have this, they have that. It's just so much information, and it's very exciting.
Yeah, there is. And Radhaa, that's why I say go to Genius Insight apps, go look at on the left drop down, look at the accessories, look at the remedy plates, look at the pulsed energetic magnetic light part, look at the apps. I could spend 2 hours on his site, really. I could go into just looking at the different packages, just looking at terahertz, right? Because a lot of people were all excited about these, you know, wands that came out. This is actually way better, you know, absolutely way better.
The wands were the ones with it looked like a flashlight, and it, yeah.
Okay, but the thing is that these old ones, and you can see mine's got actually tape on it, because that's one of the old iTerra ones a couple of years ago, and it broke. And I'm not having any problems with the new ones. This is the ones that Ryan carries. This is the iTerra brands. This is the newer one because it's got light oils, and that one is basically just terahertz. So again, this is the, you know, upgrade to that from a couple of years ago, but we still have wands there. So you see there's a 6.0. So you've got some that are 600 watts, some are 700 watts, some are, you know, 1200 watts. And then this one's way better because it's got like 5 in there. So this would be the one to go for. But the other thing too in here, back in, this is an infection panel. So it says mold, Lyme, bacteria. What happens is if you keep hitting it, you'll come to something called Entangled Insight. In here is like the old Rife program from Hulda Clark. This little close to here so you can see. Okay, so in here it's got a drop down. It says load all. So in the load all, basically what you have is fungus, candida, cancer, whatever you want, Lyme, blah, 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 blah. All you have to do is hit one of those. Let's say if I thought, well, maybe there's this fungus candida, you can go in and start doing an upscale Rife. This is way, way different. This is, yeah.
Like in the back end. Okay, I haven't seen this either.
There's lots of things in the back. I could spend you an hour just going through all this. And there's the different fungus maybe someone was in contact with that you don't realize.
Wow.
Okay, and what's sitting there fermenting in our guts, which is why I do enema water. But in the back office here, there are things we talked about libraries. So I made all these little libraries. Okay, so maybe radiation or funny things that come from the sky or different things in here. So this is what we call libraries that you won't see on the trial thing. The other thing as well, you might have a neuro remedy. So maybe I might want to test something for your brain, a neuro remedy, and just see, is it compatible or not? Kind of like muscle testing, yes or no. So that's another thing we have, neuro remedies in the back. The other thing too is accessories. So maybe you want, like I have the animation, like running that body viewer. So I have the animation thing running.
I like animation. It's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And now we've got it setting up here for what we call sound. So left, right, stereo, mono, whatever. So again, different things, hemisync, holosync. And there's the quantum capsule. So let's say I wanted to send you this particular sound, this whole therapy, and you want to listen to it. They're about $80 or whatever. You can do it, but you can listen to it all week. So I could go get a trial and do things like that, and I'll have all sorts of fun things. So the other thing too is you can make customized playlists and biomarkers. So I might want to look at, comparison, what's going on or that sort of thing. So we can look at the biomarkers on the client. So, and, maybe you're, escalated and going, hey, she's improving. Look at that. I could track that if you want as a therapist. So these are kind of the new things in here. And then the frequency, shape, and form. This is why this is different than phoning a therapist up and paying someone $100 to $200, okay? Which is happening all over the place. There are different things out there in the quantum medicine or people doing the scalar waves where they're charging, $200 a month to do this. Why would I do that? Because in a month, if I paid Ryan through the program, I could own it. Why would I use something whose technology you don't know? Because you saw all the things I can program it. And that's what your 5G is and other things coming through the towers. They can program it for negative stuff. And you don't know who's programming it. This way, I know who's programming it because it's me. So I'm not reliant. But in here, I can actually move the generators. I can tell you how much intensity. So if someone's really sensitive, I can turn down the volume, so to speak. I can go into, do you want chimes? Do you want whatever? But more importantly, this is another type of Rife. So maybe there are things to do with addiction. So I can go into the client and say, hey, Radhaa, what would you like? I'm going to clear this out. Go into a super conscious check here.
All right.
And you're going to tell me what you want overrided here.
Override it all. I'm all about clearing the programming. You know what I mean?
Well, there it is. But the chakra one. So is it addictions? Is it sleeping? Is it whatever? But there's another one that you can piggyback. So it's kind of like the Odyssey in the back that goes through that.
So okay, so the chakra came up. So what do you do? So I guess what do you do when that comes up? Do you click it? Do you?
It will just actually automatically add in. So I'm just going to skip out and it's added in here. Or I could just say clear, not put anything. But that's kind of like putting the Odyssey with the Genius. And then at the bottom, what you see is very clear here. Okay, there are many kind of waves. You don't know what kind of waves people get into here. I'm just waiting for the camera to res in here. But what it does is it's got alternating. It has something called sawtooth. It has something called sine waves, and then another one called square waves. Okay, you choose the wave in here. I usually leave it on alternate because let's say if it's a fungus or it's a virus, which doesn't exist, but we'll just say a fungus, candida, or a worm or something. Sometimes they have different waves. And so if you keep running the same wave all the time, and some things like worms and parasites are more susceptible to doing that. So we have an entire, basically can do this to help you with parasite cleansing.
That is
weight loss, sleeping, post-traumatic stress, anxiety. So we have all these different libraries for that. Now, one of the things that's really cool in there, there's a library that was made. It's called a master branch. And there are different things in here that Denise and Dr. Debbie Drake made. And all of the therapists can make their own, but there are different things called bioterrain. So we can start looking at things right down into a very microscopic level. And let me tell you, when I do this with live blood cell in combination, because I do this with live blood cell with Lorraine Andrews at truehealthcanada.ca. So you can call one of us because we do distance. And so I can take the blood out on a client, run this therapy, and your blood will look really clean. Just like instead of taking, let's say, EBU or taking people like EDTA, which is like a chemotherapy, but there are things that we can do. So I've actually put my blood on here and injected it back to me, by the way, when I was doing dental injections. So there are lots of things people haven't thought of you can put on here. So another thing you can program, like I talked about, is your crystals. The other thing you can program is orgonite can go on here.
Question. Okay.
So
did you just say that you did EBU session on there?
What it can do is I can actually, it's like doing, these things are similar to almost, I'm getting the same results instead of having to take the blood out like through like hemodialysis. And what people would do, like EBU is basically ozonating your blood. This is another option instead of doing EDTA. These things are very expensive. So these people, they're just suggesting it like it's routine. It's not routine. These are $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 therapies that they're just spouting off on TV. So this is something that's a lot cheaper than going into there. And when I look at the live blood, it looks a lot cleaner, a lot cleaner.
That's so crazy.
And that's actually, yeah.
That because I've been doing EBU and I don't know if how much of a difference I felt. It was to try to get out, like silicone particles in my body.
Yeah, but we can use different things too, like this. So you can use these kind of things that, again, you're talking about electrical magnetism and biophotonic or biomodulators. This is what this could do. So I've done this very successfully with people that have had, let's say, blood issues or incompatible blood, or that were diagnosed with cancer, and all of a sudden these people are out of remission. So it's a combination of things. Like I said, a large part of it is being alkaline. So, taking your water, taking your baking soda water, or taking drops of alkalinity, carbonate waters, or the other thing too I have up here is called suedehills.com. So what I did is I plated these for the client here. There, it looks like it's got one on here. So these are one of the things that I do a lot with clients, because these, if you need to, a lot of people are having kidney issues, swelling and edema, can't breathe. And so this is probably one of the best things I do. So I plated these. These are called It's Easy, and it's from a company called suedehills.com. So this is very, 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 very important, because we need to alkalize people. So you can talk to Cindy. It's not on her website at Suede Hills. This is you've got to talk to one of us. It's like I've got 6 new probably essential oils from Nevessence as well that we have out. Okay. But it's not online because it's like the radiate and renew. A lot of these things are similar to, like, these oils can be taken internally in veggie caps. So I take that with my clients all the time. But these are the
but you take it by putting it on the plate, right? Because that's how
I can take it energetically that way. I can put it on my skin. I put it on water, or what I use to do is what's called veggie capsules. So most of what I do is done.
When you move, I can't hear you.
Right. Move it into veggie capsules. You can get not gelatin capsules, but veggie capsules. We make aromatherapy pills.
Very cool.
Very, very, very important. So, and again, the other thing you can do is obviously enema water. That's a no-brainer. And using what's called the, your yoni steam herbs and stuff for quinine or whatever you want. I mean, like I said, a lot of people, their entire herbs there, like yoni steam, you can get your own. I mean, it's not rocket science.
I love it. I said, I'm so grateful. I'm grateful for this technology and so many incredible things that are coming forward, because I'm excited to really grasp this and learn it, and so I can start, get it and use it and share it, because it's just incredible how we can counter stuff. And something that's really funny kind of is that you can even clear black magic through with this app.
There's affirmations in there. There's past life. Some of us do in there. Galactic star origin. Some people use it for, so they've got their upturn. So I have a whole ET section in mine. So I've had like the Carrie Cassidy kind of programs and the Lana Danan and everything else I could find, and Sergeant Patty Broussard and Project Ascension. So everything I pulled from them is in here. So I have a book library one. So if you need books, let's say you need to look at live food. You need to look at a certain type of intake, or live it, as we call it, not a diet, but if you need certain type of things are in there. The other thing too is people don't know their blood type. So, this is another thing that we do at True Health Canada. You can go truehealthcanada.ca and take a look at it, because we have a lot of these things I'm showing you also available, because a lot of people don't know their blood type, and these are called Eldon cards. So these are very, very important, because it's not about just eat for your blood type. It's about knowing how and what you're doing here. So Eldon blood typing cards are very important, especially these days with things going around. And, certain people, you're not even supposed to be dating or sleeping with certain people, like your own blood type or a foreign blood type. I mean, we got to get back to basics here. That's kind of, again, some of the stuff I do, but it's not just about consulting with the genius. It's about listening to you. And that the gene is the genes, your genes inside you, your genetics. That's what we're doing, is looking at a soul print, basically, or your genetic printing, and seeing what we can do. And then we get basically the right sound wave and vibrate you back. It's the same thing as hooking up almost, like people in the old days, of someone, we got a crash cart, right? We would put the paddles on you and shock you. Well, this is a subtle wave. It's not a shock wave, it's not tens, but it helps bring that vitality back to some people. So the only time you don't hook up someone directly, but you could do it from a distance, is someone that's got a pacemaker or someone that's pregnant or nursing. I would do them distant, or, have them sit here with the sound waves, or I imprint the water, and then they can drink all the remedies that they want. They can drink all the healing water they want, because you're energizing the water as opposed to charging it. So, and these waters and crystals can hold the charge, or that energy, the frequency of the program. So we used a lot of this, like orgonite, to put the crystals in the houses and then energize them like this on the plates, and then see how long it lasts, because it's giving you a different energy signature in the home, especially with things coming through there. There are many other different kinds of plates too. I'm just showing you a couple that we have, but these are ones that could be put into with headphones, so you can really get a really nice hemi-sync, holosync. So I have lots of different toys there that Ryan's invented there.
Fun.
And I'm very grateful for that. So and if we can get Ryan to sit still enough, we'll have him on the show, and we'll bring him in so you can get the face. But I think it's important that you know who they are, what their background is. And so Ryan's been in the industry a long time. He's actually brought this forward to the IQUIM University. So they actually have a version of it at the Quantum University right now. So we're using this for bona fide quantum doctors, like medical doctors now.
Today I need to go there. That sounds pretty cool.
It's very cool. But we have instructors. So if you want to, you can go to I Love My Genius. Okay. So what do we do? ilovemygenius.com. Right. Okay. And you can take the free plan, get in there, take a look, and you're going to see all the different instructors around the world teaching. So Denise is on Thursdays, and Dr. Debbie Drake, who's one of the top energetic medical doctors probably in the world, is on Tuesday. She actually, we all volunteer our time for the most part. So we volunteer. So I was volunteering Thursday nights, and I usually tend to like jump in on the Monday shows or sometimes, but a lot of the Tuesday and Thursday shows, and they're all recorded, by the way, on YouTube, because we're YouTube friendly. But I Love My Genius is something outside. It's a chat forum outside, similar to Facebook, but it's not Facebook in case that goes down. So we set up our own forums, and you can talk to therapists all over the world, or who's near you. You can see that. I'm trying to get them a directory map. So if you clicked on where you live, you could see the different people around you. So we're working on things like that to come. And of course, if you're on Facebook or Telegram, and Facebook has got a lot. It's called Insight Health Apps, and then Insight Health Apps Hub. And then Ryan tends to teach usually on a Friday, I think probably once or twice a month. You'll have him get in there and he's telling you what we're doing. But if you go back on Insight Health Apps on YouTube and you go back 2-3 years, and you'll see him, he's like the little Tesla sitting there going, and you got to remember the kind of like download that he had to bring this forward. So everything you see like AOs and other scanners and Heelys and all, they're just knockoffs in the last couple of years. They're not the original ones. These are. And the cool thing, we change our programs probably once or twice a month, are upgraded. So we change the software. So as technology comes in and new medicines come in, we change it, and you don't pay for that. Like my skio days used to pay $500 a year, you know, and that's ridiculous. So once you've invested into this, and this is an investment, and a lot of people, it's not in therapist hands. I bet you 80-90% of my clients are 60 to 80 years old, looking after the grandchildren for obvious reasons these days. Okay, because they can look after the grandchildren to distance. So if you think Reiki is something, you ain't got anything. You can chakra ray all you want, but you ain't seen anything till you've seen this kind of technology, right? And again, I don't have to be initiated from someone to someone. And again, it's just energy passed down. But this is, you can do yourself, your friends. You can do pets on it, by the way. I do lots of animals. Lorraine does horses at True Health Canada. So a lot of horses are done, dogs, animals, ranches, farming. We're doing a lot of water. So a lot of us get together as a group collectively, and we might be focusing on the issue of the day, like what happened in Ohio, because it's all the way to Ontario, it's all through Canada, it's all through the States, and all the way down to Mexico right now. So those contaminants are all through the Mississippi now. And so this is affecting us. So we will take water, and where I'm staying right now at the lake here, this is actually one of the cleanest waters in the world because it's glacier fed here, which we're protecting. So that's why, you know, we're into these different areas here, protecting the mountains, the lakes, because if that dam goes in Revelstoke, that goes all the way down with a 300-foot tidal wave. There's a book called The Wave, by the way, all the way down to Seattle and all the way down to Portland. So you don't realize that all the electricity, everything they've been doing nefariously is connected to these waterways. So it's very important to put the water on. And I'm really big about doing the water. So a lot of times I'll put the water on here and do that. And then you can always, you know, terahertz it too with light therapy. And, you know, put crystals in and put your shaga in and put your shungite in, put whatever else you want. So you can potentize that. So whatever you put on this plate gets potentized. So if you want to put, you know, like I said, your crystal on it, you know, your amethyst or your, you know, or rose quartz or any of the shungites and stuff, you can potentize them. They make them much, much stronger. So you can put your food on and clear it. So you could put your apple on and try and clear it from some of the different GMOs and insecticides and pesticides. So that's another use for this in nutrition as well. So not only can we test you to see what your allergies are, but we could use it to try and clear. So, and again, having said that, that's wild food or organics, you know, you can't take, you know, something that's totally poisoned and, you know, fix it completely. So, but those are some ideas. So hopefully these are some new information we presented a little bit to you and, you know, to all of you.
Me. You just showed me some back end stuff. I'm like, hey, I didn't see that before.
Yeah. No, these are some different, really great ideas. And I keep this on the road all the time. Like you said, I have one for me, one for each of my children, and one for the client. So I have 4. And having said that, you can get what's called an additional subscription license. So I didn't have to pay, you know, $2,000. Once you pay for one, you can get an additional satellite license for a couple hundred. So
Really?
that is, yeah, that's a saving. So there are a lot of people, like you might have one running in a clinic, but you want each therapist to have it in the rooms. So you can run it that way. So we do a lot of like setting up clinics and quantum health centers. And like I said, you know, there are people that do reflexology, because I showed you can go into the reflexology meridian line, right? So you could scan someone instead of using a needle, utilize the sound wave or utilize the oils or the acupressure. So it actually identifies, you're doing a scan, you know, and it's really nice that way because it's drugless and it's needleless.
Yeah.
And there's no side effects to playing with this kind of technology. So, you know,
Really?
it really gives you clarity of mind. And like I said, there's an affirmation thing, like, so Louise Hay's stuff is in there. Dr. Carolyn Means for, you know, releasing emotional patterns with essential oil. So we use a lot of this for post-traumatic stress, sexual abuse, ritual abuse, targeted individuals, that kind of thing. So,
Wow.
yeah. So there's unlimited possibilities, and each therapist can make up their own libraries because you have your own things, like what you like in your own fridge or on your own food, or, you know, you can program things like that, you know, what kind of meals or what are better combinations for yourself. So,
I just showed you a little bit of what the potential is, but there are a lot of people doing aura readings, which of course everyone's like, oh, I want to see what the aura looks like today. But that's the idea, is that you can see the difference in the aura within minutes, and we can go back and then do clearing. And if you haven't done enough clearing, then it means maybe you need, it's got a percentage thing here, and maybe you've only cleared 20% of the issues here and you need more, so there are many different things in here. And then I didn't show you this one either. There are kind of different kind of graphs too. So I could send a report to someone. So yeah, then you can make also, there's kind of little cute reports you can give to people.
Nice. You can give it to your clients.
Yeah, so there's a body one here, and then there's a biofield one, your chakras and whatever else you need. So there's different ways to interpret them. And those are kind of nice, because sometimes people kind of want information, that because we're so dynamic, we keep changing. Like the minute I go meet
Karen, your voice is going off when you move a little bit, so make sure when you're right in front of
okay, sorry,
there you are.
There we go. Yeah, anyway, so there's different things in here too, you can look at the graphing and stuff like that and just see what happens. So anyway, those are a couple ideas. I hope they help you and everyone that's listening, and I'm so excited. So if they want to, see me, they can see me on Facebook at Karen Ann McDonald, or KA and then Lusick. I'm on Telegram, MeWe, Instagram, Twitter, all over the place. And, a lot of stuff too, I do from a distance. There's a lot of people up here. We're running something called the National Citizens Inquiry up here. So from nation to nation, that's something that's really, really important to deal with the events of the last 3 years. So if you haven't seen that, a lot of the expert witnesses in doing testifying, I use that to make sure they're in the most optimal health, and that their immune system is as positive and as functional as we can possibly get them, because there are many people, and we're the consultant to a lot of people behind the scenes, very much so. So, I could be a child. I just did a consult for a 4-year-old child up in like Dawson area here, up in the Dawson Creek, because of all the fires. So we're getting children really, really sick, and animals all through Alberta and into BC right now because of the chemical spill inhalants and carried through the smoke. So this is something really, that's why I'm using a lot of this. Because you can potentize your essential oils on here too while you're diffusing them, and using things like this. So I've even did this yesterday, and I put this actually on my potentizer and then potentized it while I was here. I went, oh, why don't I do both at the same time? So, but yeah, so those are some different ideas, and, looking at these Q links and looking at simple things that are not very, expensive, and they're available to all of us, definitely.
I love
so
that.
any questions you have on hand, or?
Thank you so much, Karen. No, we're gonna end it here, because we're gonna definitely meet up again and do another part of the series. We're just educating people, letting them know available, what's how they can get assistance during these really hard times. We all need it. We all need that extra support, and it's really cool, like you said, people that are doing great things in this world, that are standing up, that are using their voice, and they're getting energy attacks. And this is also a great way to protect,
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Like you start looking at people like, I just met with Dr. Robert Morse TV, Dr. Robert Young. So look at his blog, the scientific blogs. Take a look at some of the stuff, or just go to Rumble or YouTube and just Google me. I have my own channel, by the way, but you got to go to the live stream on it. But there's a Karen Ann McDonald. But take a look at some of the top people that I'm dealing with. Like, that's why I'm in the middle of going to get back under the microscope and get back into the clinic part, because we need to pool all our schools, like in community, like our soul tribes have to come together now, right? And this is exactly why I'm, frontline nursing here with a 16-foot camper on the ground, on here, because like I said, I can run this off a baby solar panel for $40. So even if the grid goes down, you can get a little Sierra wave or something like that. I mean, these are not expensive to run these on a solar pad, which is like $40, $50. So lots of opportunities for people, for sure. And you can take this to the cabin, you can take it out camping, you can take it wherever you want. This is my ditch the dock version. No, it's true. I haven't had a health card, been part of the system for almost 2 decades. I don't carry health cards because I don't need their 6th system. It's, it's death care in the allopathics. And this allows me to visit 28 different therapists with 33 different technologies. So, you know, that's just my answer. That's my solution to this pollution.
Genius after all.
Well, and isn't that cute? Yeah, they told me. There you go. Genius at work. That was my mug I found down here.
Well, thank
Anyway,
you so much. Wonderful talking to you as always. And we're definitely going to be doing another show soon with so much more information. So please tune, look out for that. Until next time, much love and blessings. Bye for now.